I decided to do a face forward, face first. I don't know what these videos are called, where I'm looking at the camera. Because I feel like I've not done one of these in a really long time. And I was inspired by a video I saw by Danny Mystic. And it was a VR called Tarot 7 Connection. Hashtag Tarot 7 Connection. And it was the original video was by Marilyn from Tarot Clarity, but I actually went on her YouTube channel and I couldn't find the original video, so I've only watched Danny's. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to do something a bit different. And yeah, like Danny said, I won't be showing any decks. I'll just be like talking. Hopefully I'm looking in the right place. I've not done one of these for so long, so I feel like my eyes will probably be all over the place, but whatever. I have my cup of tea in my little Miss Chatterbox mug, which, hello. So yeah, I have the questions here on my laptop in front of me. So I'll just be going through them one by one. So number one is, are there any types of reading you won't do? Why not? Yeah, I tend to not, I don't read professionally anyways, so I don't really I like using tarot for personal development, not necessarily predictive, although there's nothing wrong with predictive. I don't feel like I'm very good at predictive readings, so I tend not to do it. But also I don't really do anything around health. I don't like doing relationship readings. I've had a few friends ask me, and I think when I was first starting tarot and I was just so excited anyone wanted a reading from me, I would kind of do things like, kind of like romance readings or, what's going on readings. And I don't know, they just like didn't really sit right with me. And then so I did it a couple times and I was like, nah, it's not really for me. I think, yeah, I wouldn't do anything about like past lives or any of that. It's just because it's not like my field of like knowledge or expertise. Like I feel like I'm interested in personal development and like I can read the cards in that way. Which is why I also, like, if someone were to ask me about like a health reading or something, the tarot cards almost have a different meaning. Like some people might know which cards mean bad luck or whatever, for predictive readings, but I feel like that's like another layer of information that I don't really have, and I've not really been interested in using. So yeah, but I think relationship, health, probably past life stuff. What else? I think that's kind of it, to be honest. Yeah, I think like I would do any other kind of reading. Oh, and I think one Danny mentioned was one for people who aren't present or haven't given their consent, which I think I've never been in that situation. But yeah, I can't imagine someone coming to me and asking me to do a reading for someone who's not there. Uh, it's because I mostly read for my friends, and I know my friends wouldn't ask me that. So yeah. So number two, is there any tarot card you identify with the most? Which is it? Um, yeah, so I think I have like two. The Hermit, because the Hermit is my birth card. I think just that idea of like kind of going off, finding yourself, and then kind of, creating your own light, and then maybe possibly taking what you've learned and kind of going back down the mountain and sharing it with people. That really resonates with me. I'm very interested in personal development. I feel like this video could be a drinking game. Like take a shot every time I say personal development. Maybe a shot of tea. Who knows? So yeah, what was it? Yeah, the Hermit. Yeah, I like the idea of kind of focusing on yourself, taking a break from like kind of external stuff and, focusing your attention on something. Although I think I kind of tend to also have the negative side of that. So like maybe the reverse meaning where you're like too inward focused and you can't see the forest for the trees kind of thing. And then the other card I identify as is the Queen of Cups. I think because the Queen of Cups is like a super emotional, caring person. She's kind of the person you go to when you need good advice and when you just want someone to listen. And I think I'm that person. I tend to be that person in my friendship group. People know that they can come and talk to me about anything and I won't, judge them. I have a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings all at the same time a lot of the time. So I think that also meshes well with the Queen of Cups because she's just a very watery, like in her feels kind of person, which like is fair enough. And that definitely describes me too. So number 3, is there any reading that you've ever done that either gave you the chills or impressed you? And it says, don't betray anyone by name or anyone who's easily identifiable. Keep it anonymous. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've done like a few readings for myself where I'm just like, oh my God, where did that come from? But most recently I did one maybe a couple months ago for a friend, and I used the Horror Tarot, which was like fairly new to my collection. And I think it's only maybe like 6 months old anyways. And they asked for a very specific reading, and it like when I did the reading I was like, oh, I'm not really sure, but then when I talked to them about it they were like, oh my God, this is so spot on. And then it was around a certain event, and then after that event had passed, we talked about the reading again and how things had like basically I was right about certain things, not in a predictive way, but just kind of like things that they could rely on and that kind of, I don't know, I can't really say much else without getting into detail. But yeah, it was amazing just hearing from this person how much that reading impacted them, and therefore it had a really big impact on me because it was like, oh, I can see I've tangibly helped this person, and it was an amazing feeling. Yeah, that's why I love tarot. I just think it has the power to do that. So 4, which is your preferred system? Why do you like this system best? So definitely RWS. I think this is just the system I learned on, first of all. I think I got the Modern Witch Tarot. That was maybe like I think that was probably my 3rd deck. My first deck was a Marseille deck. My second deck was a Pip deck. And then my third one was the Modern Witch, which is, a modernized version of the RWS. And I think with Marseille, I didn't really like the images. They seemed really like old school, and like the pips were really hard to read, even though there was a guidebook. I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I kind of put that away. Then I got my Pip deck. It was the Kawaii Tarot, and the guidebook for that was amazing, but the imagery itself didn't really give me much to go on. So it was difficult for that reason. And then I got the Modern Witch, and it feels like that kind of clicked in for me. So I feel like yeah, the RWS is my system. I have gone back to Marseille, and I do love Marseille, although recently, I don't know, I think because I had a long break from it, like probably a couple of years reading, and I tried to do a Marseille reading for myself maybe like a month ago, and it did not go well because I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on. It just, yeah, it was not a good read. It was all like muddled, and I just didn't know what I was doing. So I think I probably need to go back and like relearn Marseille. and just that, it kind of, because it kind of reads like Lenormand reads, like it's all about the relationships with the cards. It's not the individual cards. Um, but yeah, I'd like to get back into Marseille, and honestly, I've never had any interest in Thoth. I don't like the designs by Lady Frida Harris. Like, no, nothing against her artwork, but it's just not my style. I do have one Thoth E deck, which is the Outgrow Yourself, but it's a Thoth slash Oracle, so I kind of use it as an Oracle instead. Sorry if you can hear my dishwasher making noises. Yeah, so yeah, definitely RWS. And I just don't really think I'll have any interest in Thoth. Like, who knows? I know a few years ago there was loads of people doing Thoth studies on YouTube, and I was just like, nope, not interested, not for me. I think there's too much like esoteric stuff, like, layering on Kabbalah and astrology and all this other stuff where it's just a bit too chaotic for my brain to remember. And it doesn't help that I have no interest in it as well. So yeah. Number 5. Do you prefer doing in-person readings, remote, or other types? Why? Yeah, so like I said, I don't read professionally. I mostly read for myself, and then if friends ask, I will read for them. I do like doing it in person, but I actually feel quite stressed when I do it in person, and I think this is why I could never actually become a professional tarot reader, because I kind of just panic and I'm like, oh my god, like, and I try to like say everything I know about the card, and like, even if like, because I do it for friends, so it's not like they're expecting, a particular thing. It's pretty like casual and relaxed, but I still feel like that external pressure. And so I just kind of sometimes I'll like freeze and like either forget what, they've asked, or what the cards mean, or like just what I'm doing. Like, I don't know. It's a bit chaotic for me sometimes in person. It really depends on the person as well. I think I get like that more when the person is a skeptic, because I've done a few readings for friends who are just like, who don't believe in it. And so I think I felt that extra pressure to kind of not make them believe it, but make sure I'm like doing the best I can. And so that just adds unnecessary pressure, which is not super fun. But yeah, I've done one like written reading, like literally physically written, with someone. I feel like it was just a stranger online. I don't even remember how I met them, but they sent me a reading and then I sent them a reading. And I didn't really like doing that because I just didn't really get anything out of it. It was like, I have no idea. Like, I think their question was quite generic as well. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but it just, yeah, it didn't really do it for me. So I don't really like written readings. I think my favorite kind to do is probably through voice notes. And actually, my favorite, this isn't the question, but my favorite type of reader is someone else who reads tarot. Those are the most fun readings for me, because if they know tarot, then we can like bounce ideas off of each other and learn. And it's really fun to go back and forth and be like, oh, well, I think this is related to this. And they're like, oh, yeah, I never thought of that. And it's like you can riff off each other, which is really fun. So, yeah, I quite enjoy that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that answers that. So number 6, besides tarot, are there any other oracular systems you enjoy using? Which ones and why? Well, I mentioned Lenormand. I think because I started my Lenny journey really early on, like pretty much around the same time. I started tarot maybe like 6 months later, so that was like 8 years ago or something like that now. So I really like it as a system. I think it's so cool. I just love it. And that one, I guess I tend to do more predictive readings as opposed to tarot, because it's like a little bit easier to understand in that way. But yeah, um, besides that, what else do I use? I use oracles, obviously, which don't have like a specific system. I do have a couple of playing card decks. Like I have the Inner Eye one. I can't remember who that's by. Where basically someone's like created their own system for a playing card deck. And I don't know how much of it is based on playing card divination, because actually playing card divination, it really varies. It's not like all playing card meanings are the same in different parts of the world. So yeah, I've tried to get into it, but I think the lack of imagery and something to connect with has been really hard for me. Even on cards that have images, I don't know. I haven't been able to connect with playing cards, but I'd like to at some point. And then I have one Sibylla deck, but that was only because I got it as a souvenir when I was in Milan, and I just wanted something, that was Italian. So I got that, but I've not really used it. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I kind of feel like with tarot, oracle, Lenormand, and playing cards, I feel like I have enough systems. I don't really need any new ones. So yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like I've not tried Kipper, although I quite like the look of the Seaborn Kipper. So if I were to try that, I'd probably get that deck just because it looks really cool, and I really like Ciolo Thompson's artwork, and I really like Thomas as well. Yeah. So the last question is, what solidified your connection with tarot? Yeah, I think this is like, I don't know, it's kind of like, I feel like tarot met me where I was at the time, and like it's kind of developed with me and provided what I needed. And so I've really enjoyed it because it's developed with me and it's helped me develop. I think what solidified it is just seeing how I could answer questions for myself, because I think of tarot as a mirror. I feel like I'm actually talking to a deeper part of myself, like, or I don't know if you want to get like super woo woo, like some universal energy or something like that. I don't know. But it's something that kind of, because I feel like we know the answers ourselves, and sometimes we just, it's subconscious or unconscious, and we need a tool to bring that to the forefront, which is why I think tarot is an amazing tool. So I think realizing that is what solidified my connection with it, because I realized this is a great way to tap into things that are hidden beneath the surface, and seeing that it was helping me made me want to keep going and keep like developing my relationship with it. So yeah, it became like a really important like growth tool for me. And I kind of think of it as like, part of my toolkit for self-care. So it's it's a really important part of like my life now, and it has been for, nearly 10 years now. But yeah, I think it's that initial, because I didn't really know much about it when I started doing it. So I wasn't like expecting much, and I think that helped. And so it was all like, oh my God, this is crazy when it started working. And it was that kind of wonder and awe of like this mysterious thing that, that we don't know how it works. It's magic, right? And yeah, it just felt really like I was connecting to something bigger than myself. And so that felt really cool. And I liked being tapped into that, and like tapping into, these kind of inner knowings that weren't readily available to me in other ways. So yeah, I don't know. This has been fun. I hope you guys have liked it. Yeah, I'll link Danny's video below. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.